All right, sun's going down, so I probably should start a video. People like it when I do that. But what I'm thinking is, I want to get this to run again and drive it out of this spot that it's been sitting in. And in theory, it should be fine. I mean, but in practice, probably not so much. So we're gonna see what it takes right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. 7300 combine. I saved it from the scrap. Hauled it home, did a very quick patch job on it to try to take it to the field, and did in fact run some corn with it. I guess that's been 2 years ago by now, and it's just been sitting. And that really breaks my heart, but life happened, you know? Now it appears, if we start down here, I don't know if that's the right place to start or not, but it appears there's a pile of stuff in the sediment bowl. So perhaps we ought to dump that out. Ooh, when I shut it off, more started falling. But what I'm saying is we're gonna get here eventually, so. And it's not gonna let me do it without tools, so awesome. Well, I hate to tell you, but I'm not having a great time. Today, it's like everything that can go wrong has been going wrong, and just nothing is working my way. So I don't expect that we're gonna have great success. Probably won't be very nice, but we can dream, can't we? You know? Is there anything gonna come out of there? Ooh. Mystery fluid, still flowing good. But is that the color of gas? Not really so much. It's almost like there's a little hang up in that. I guess we'll roll with it. I don't know what the gray matter is that's in there. I kind of remember that maybe we had that problem with it, and then I kind of don't. But the good news is there is fluid in there. Now, if we go up to the top and we find out the engine's stuck, that'll be about right. What I anticipate to find up here, and I don't look forward to, is that there's probably an enormous bird's nest under the hood. Also, we'll need this. Because, let's face it, that battery's dead. Almost positive of that. Oh! No, nothing is out of the ordinary. It's like the day I shut it off. Well, that's odd. I want to check before I get carried away. Let's make sure it's still got juice in it. It does, I can see it in there. So that's also a good sign. Let's put this up. I really want this year to keep all of them running. All year. So all I gotta do is turn the key. And it just, things don't always work that way for me. It just has been a struggle. There's the oil. Looking for the oil. We don't want to check the transmission on this like we did on the truck. It's still got oil in it. It's probably due for an oil change. That could be a video that we do. Also, cleaning the raccoon crap off. Also making nice spark plug wires for it, which we never did. I might have, did I buy some maybe? I don't remember. I was thinking that I bought that stuff and then never used it. Oh, cab, but we haven't been in here for a while. I'm pleasantly surprised already. This is already better than I thought. So that must mean the engine's locked up, because stuff just don't go our way like this. I mean, should I just let you sit here while the failure happens? Maybe. Put the battery on, cable on. I'm gonna give it a shot of the good stuff, because I know we'll be there. Oh, we're gonna have to get more. That's good. What's our battery show? 12.2 volts? We might have a chance. Let's go. I'm not getting no starter though. I think I remember that. Didn't we have trouble with that? Okay. Why we got no go? Let's get up here. I remember now what its problem was. Its problem was right in here. This little doodabber here, which has just about welded itself together. And I know we're going to twist it off. Probably should disconnect the battery, you know? You can't work on the hot stuff with. I'm having a struggle here. I'm running out of room on this one. Because I got my jump pack up here. But I remember this as being an issue. And we're going to twist it off. I'm not really entirely sure why this exists. But that's obviously our trouble, because what it's doing is it's not letting voltage go to the starter. So for today, in order to make this play with us, if it's even remotely possible that it will, I'm going to hook the jumper right to here. And we're going to hope that that makes her play. What's the battery say now? 12.2. Let's try it again. Still nothing. Friends, it's like we shut it off yesterday. It's been almost 2 years. That's crazy. Instant oil pressure. Sounds like it's struggling a little. Now, baby doll, would you stay running long enough to drive? Do we have hydraulic oil too? That would be cool. Look at that. Never lost any. Now, do we have clutch? Not really very good. There's our fault. Well, that sucks. we're not in the right spot. We were having a fun time. Yeah, that's what I figured. We got no clutch, which is the same thing that's wrong with the 545. But we got running and we got everything else function just like the day we shut it off. But we got to fix this because it did do that before. I do remember. Let's try to get it again. Come on. Ate it, but you helped me out. When that happened, the clutch unstuck. So that's awesome. Now we got what we came for. Sweet. I bet the back tire's flat. It charges the battery, unfortunately, so that's some homework we can do. That might also have to do with what am I trying to say? That might also have to do with the that little thingamabob that ain't working, electric, that little solenoid. Well, did both tires hold air too? What is this thing? I think this is the best one I got. It just keeps giving. Even our sediment bowl is starting to look the right color again. That's awesome. I thought I cleaned it out good before I put it away, so, and by put it away I mean shut it off and walked away from it. This thing could have went any day, but if I had wanted to go take it out and do corn in a hurry, it never would have done it. Never would have done it. That's pretty cool. Put the head back down, or do we want to? We could put the lock down. Oh, bad things happen here, friend. Wait, we got issues. am impressed. I mean, it's been sitting for a long time with me sadly staring at it every time thinking, I wish I was, you know what I mean? I wish I was moving it or doing something. And then I kept thinking, I just can't. I don't have time or energy. And here all I had to do was turn the key. But why I did that, mainly just to get it in a different spot so people don't keep wondering why it's never moving. But I knew there was something that it needed, and now I remember. That little solenoid down there, that needs replaced. So we're gonna have to get that, reconfigure our battery cables because they're a mess anyway. I got battery cables hanging over the side. We need to figure out our charging issues, see if we can't make her charge the battery again, because that's unhandy. Back when we used it, it let us down in the field the very first time, remember? I had to walk back and get the pickup. So, at any rate, that's what, that's a very nice view for you, nothing. What I'm saying is, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. But battery charging, I want to get it, basically tune it up. It needs better wires. It's earned that. It's really a nice little combine. I wanted to make a little, when we change our battery cables around, I wanted to make a mesh screen or something to screw over that hole where the governor is. I hope that nothing will interfere. I'll have to research that more, but that hole is bad. That's a perfect bird hole. Birds will see that and think, we got us something, and they fly in there and they'll pack these things full. And this is the only one that has that. So I don't know why they put that access hole. I guess it was for ease of use when you had to adjust the governor. Maybe it was for improved cooling. Lots of things are possible, but one thing's for certain. We need to make it more better. Right here you can see why that guy on the other one here made him a ladder extension, because she's a rubbing the tire. I need to make a little, like if I would put a block or something, I could potentially make that better. Like if I had it where it would sit here, that would be a lot better. Oh, I see what's happened. This ladder is bent. I do remember that now. Right here, it's kinked in. It needs bent out. So, and it might have been worse, and I actually already bent it out some. I can't remember. But that is sweet, friends. A simple little project that finally went right, because nothing else today has. I have had a terrible time working on all this stuff for you. That 77 diesel's about ready to get a hammer through the hood, because it's it really let me down. I did something dumb, and now I'm gonna have to spend more money and time fixing that later. But sure, I'm pumped about this though. There's two combines right here that would, you know, go to the field and harvest some crops with minimal effort again. All we have to have is the desire to do it, you know. That's the piece I was missing in the fall. But it's getting better, so maybe we can make it happen. I just noticed that walking by here. We're gonna have to do something about that. You see what I'm talking about? There is a guard that is bent up, and that has probably toasted my sickle. So it's probably a good thing that the belt is tore and that didn't run, or I would have destroyed everything. So we'll have to get a piece of pipe or something that fits on that and see if we can, you know, tweak it back down, or we'll probably just have to beat it relentlessly with a hammer, destroy the sickle, pull the sickle out, put a new section in, slide it back in, find out that it's too far gone, take it back out, put the other sickle in, and then find out it's not for this machine, and then take this sickle out, beat it up against a tree, and question all my life choices. So it's simple process, you know. But yeah, I'm liking the combine collection, you know. A cousin called a while ago and he said, are you trying to compete with me on how many combines I got? And I said, well, I'm buying older, smaller ones, and he's trying to buy bigger ones all the time. But there you go, 2 sizes side by side. 3 walker, 4 walker. I need to get the 545 out, 5 walker. It needs, the clutch is stuck on it, so I need to get it out and just drive it around like I did this one, and it'll probably bust loose. And then I need to get the snout fixed on the head. And what else? The 545 also needs the auger worked on. That last year I used them. It was terrible. Everything was breaking. That's what pushed me over the edge, and I thought I'm done doing it myself, because it was muddy and everything was tearing up, and I fought and fought and fought to get done and totally destroyed everything. But I think I got almost every piece to fix everything, so we could, you know, be back in business. Just looking over all of the cool stuff here. We need to kind of do a walk around of this one and inventory belts too, because I never, I don't think I really did much of anything with these. There's a belt that's not very good. Well, there's 2 issues here. Can't get here with this brace. No wonder they took the side shields off. This is the only combine I have that has both sides, I think. Well, the red one might. This belt here ain't no good, as we can see. It's about to leave the chat. So that'll remind me, filming this will remind me to order these, see? This is not the right belt for the fan, I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to have a B width belt. Also, that's garbage, so this one is supposed to be a round belt. So we might have to do that. That runs the straw walkers, but you see how it rubs? It's actually, it does do that kind of, but the other belt is round. That's supposed to be on there. What else? I don't know. It's just, it ran. We just tried it a minute ago and it did its thing. I just noticed something odd about this one. I haven't even used it that much to, what's going on here with the concave adjustment in front of that sprocket? None of the other ones I have are like that. So what's going on? Did they put it together differently when it was green than when it was red, and then when the other ones, because the other ones aren't that way? Or is there some issue? Is it open the way wrong? All of these things are possible, friends, but I'm gonna have to look at that red one and see, because I know on the red one this is not in the way of anything. You never have to take it out of the way. So we're gonna have to see why that is the way that it is. But so far there's 2 belts there, 3 belts basically, that should be replaced. That belt, it ain't great. You know, this combine I did nothing to. You know, you saw it. I revivaled it. I brought it home. I fixed only what was absolutely necessary to get it to go, as in welding a hole over the grain pan and then welding a patch over the hole in the grain pan and replacing that missing chain in the head. And we went straight to the field and we had no troubles. But we didn't have much stuff. We just played a little bit. But how's this side? Well, probably pretty good at first blush, except for maybe the belt that runs the cross augers. That is a piece of garbage. So we need to get one of those on our way. I don't know. It's just neat to see the different things, the different progressions they made through these. The 2 that I have differences, you know, to all these. And it's just interesting. This belt is not very good, is it? That's also the one that's tore on that one behind me. So we need to look up belts for that. And see, like this one and my red one both have this spring idler, which tensions this belt, whereas this old one here has a manual slide idler, which is, yeah, see, you just tension it on your own. And I don't know if I don't know which I would prefer. I can tell you from experience in the field, like with the other one, there would be times when to unchoke it, if it got plugged up, I'd have to take that off. So it was kind of handy to be able to flip it off that spring pulley and then do what I had to do, and then manhandle that spring pulley back and let it hit the belt and go again. So I don't know, it's just cool stuff, you know. There's just so much interesting stuff, and it's a shame when these get scrapped because it still works. I mean, you can go out and harvest your crop with these, no problem. It's just that it's slow, and if you break down, it's not drive to town and get the part. It's spend a lot of time and find the part or mail it or whatever. There's another issue. I remember now, it has gotten worse. But you see that is all rotted out up there. That is your clean grain elevator, and that's pretty important. Otherwise, your clean grain never makes it into the tank. So we need to give that the treatment of making a service door. That's usually what I just do for the fix. It works really great. Plus, at the end of the season, you can open it like that, and then you don't have that problem again. The bottom won't rot out if you keep it clean. But that's pretty aggressively destroyed. So I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna make that happen. And it was like that before. We had it taped up when we played with it, and it was leaking the whole time we were going, but I was having fun and I wasn't gonna stop. So sure. But every time we do something with these old things, I try to do something to make them a little better each time. And you know, so like maybe this time when we go around it, we'll do stuff like that. We'll change some belts. We'll probably change some hoses, whether they need it or not, just so that they stay, you know, operable. Because it's no fun when you have to just go out there and work your Knudsen off the whole time. That was kind of what turned me off the very last year I did it. It was just too much, and we're, you know, struggling, fighting. Christmas Eve was coming and going, and we're still working, you know. I don't like that. I'm not into that, so that is the kind of stuff that, I don't know. Somebody asked, are you going to start combining again? Well, probably not. I like hiring people for the simple fact of I need the help. I'm one person, and if they combine, they worry about their combine, and all I have to do is be the trucker and take it back and forth. But what I would like is for all these little combines to be ready to go, so I could start in, you know, maybe open the field up playing with them or something, just to, you know, I could get a truckload, but it would take me a day or two probably with these, especially the little bitty fellers. But I don't know. And then the other thing would be, like, if something broke down, I could potentially keep going and get it finished, you know, with my little toy combines here. The other thing is, like with beans especially, yeah, I could cut soybeans with this, but what it'll do that I don't like is it'll leave a windrow of trash behind it, and I don't like that. I like the chopped up nothing. If it did that, I'd have to go back and bush hog over top of it to scatter it. And talk about a dirty job, friends. If you haven't been around bean dust, or especially in that kind of situation where you're actually bush hogging the dry stubble, you will come out a different color than you started. I mean, that's a nasty, dirty job. I mean, I'll do it if I want to play with these, but I was kind of thinking mainly like wheat only, you know, corn only. Potentially, I could probably find another chopper for this one and do it. You have to change these back panels. That consequently is why that other viewer Terry, he came up to me in church and told me, hey, I left you a present. And he was the one who brought me those 525 rear panels. And I would say the reason that they have those is, back whenever they had a combine like that, they put a chopper on it. And to put the chopper on, you have to take those panels off and change them for one that has a big notch in it. And that's where the chopper fits. And then, you know, there's other stuff. My 545 has those on it. It's set up for a chopper, and I've got a chopper that I could rebuild and put on there. So that one potentially I could try to put that bean head on and do beans with it, you know, but it's only been corn. That one also has other stuff in it for corn, which I think this one does too, because it is a corn and soybean special. So it probably has those risers on the straw walkers. We probably can't see in the dark. And there could be a rabid raccoon out here too. No, we can't see unless I get my phone flashlight. Will you come on? Yeah, it has the little, does it? I can't tell. The little spikies on the straw walkers. I don't think they all had that. Either that or there's higher ones. There's something about that. And then there's differences in the sieve here and things. I used to know that. I read up on it once. Consequently, I priced through Agco. I can still get a grain pan, but I'd have to bend over pretty hard and take it because it ain't cheap. But I might consider it because that's such a nice little combine. Let's have a look here. See, they're not as aggressive of little point things. And I think there was something to that. Also, maybe the shapes of the holes. I can't remember. There's things, if you have an afternoon and you want to learn, you can look up in the parts book and learn all that. And I used to know it, but I've forgotten a lot of stuff because you don't use the knowledge every day. And you know what I'm saying. But I want to get, these two are the most field ready. So these are the ones that we can play with immediately, you know, this year. And like I said, I could run straw with this one too. I've got a rigid head 13-foot table that I've never used. We'd have to dig it out and get it ready, but it actually came with the red one, even though it's a green head, and it would run wheat, and we could have 2 Oliver combines running wheat. And like I said, I could put that grain table on the 545 and do that with it, but I don't know. Isn't that nice? A sunset, all Oliver and white stuff in the picture, you know. And my neglected semi, which I haven't done anymore too. Need to order parts for that so I can get you more videos on that, but I got a lot of projects for other people to do that need to come first. And then I got stuff for my own use of putting out a crop this year that I need to be working on too, so sure. But there we go. There is 2 combines that I saved from, you know, imminent destruction, I guess. This one maybe not so much because he might have sold it to somebody who would love it too, but you never know. I mean, people get over it when they see it sit in the way and finally say, you know what, scrap. And that's what was going to happen to that one. He had an auction and it had to go. And on the auction, it was bid, I think I had the bid for like $400, and then he bid against me. He said, I bid against you myself, because he said if it didn't bring $600, he said I was going to take the tires off and scrap it. So it's a good thing I bid another couple times, because otherwise this sucker would be not with us. And what a shame, because look at us, how much of a sweetheart it is. I mean, it fired right up after a long slumber. I need to get a big tarp or something and cover them up at least in the meantime. But it would wax up, I know, because it was at one time. You know, you can still see a little shine over here. It would come out of it. Just need to do the work. But that is pretty cool, you know. Back in the day, several years ago, before this even sold, this one, I know I've said that before, it was at the national show down in Madison, and I saw it there. And then shortly after that, he had it listed for sale, but he wanted like $2,000, and I looked at it hard. I mean, that ad, I really wanted it, because I thought when I was running those 2 combines I had, I thought it would be awfully handy to have another one that had quick switch heads, and then it would be like the backup combine, so that if something happened to one of the others, I could put on whatever head I needed and just go finish. and I never got it bought. And then, as luck would have it, I got it later on an auction. So I could still go back to my original plan, you know, fix my red one. It would be set up for soybeans. That big one would be set up for corn. And then, you know, that one could only be wheat. And then this one could be whatever I had to do to finish, you know, have it ready to just slap on whatever head. Because I've got a grain table, I've got a 4-row head, I've got this 3-row head, and I've got, I could potentially put that floating head on it if I had to go that route, because it should work. The latches are different, but there's ways around that to make her go. But yeah, the only thing I'm disappointed about with this is when it had a 3-row head, I was really hoping that I could narrow it up and it would be like 330, so that I could do half of a 6-row head, and then it would be a lot easier to go play with it in other places, you know, even if I didn't have corn, you know, or when I plant with that 6-row planter eventually. That was what I was thinking. But if you did 3-row 30, I'm not saying it couldn't be done to this head, because they are somewhat adjustable. I could narrow it in. I crawled under there and looked. It would be not just cut and dry. There would be other stuff that has to happen to get it that narrow. And another thing you're going to run into is it's not going to cover your wheel tracks. That's not the right thing I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is, if you move this in over here, your next row of corn is going to be getting run down by, you know, you can't really do that. You can only go so narrow before the combine starts to cause you problems running over the crop. And basically this is it, because, you know, if it's 38 inches from here, the other one is probably about right there. So I don't know. I looked at it and I thought about it, and then I thought, I don't know if that's what I want to do. I got a 4-row head. I'll always plant some 4-row corn here at home just so I can play with my toys, because I'm accumulating a lot of them, and I like it. I like to play with these old machines. I mean, you just think about, I'm just rambling now, so you're probably bored, but I'm thinking about all the, think of the time span here. We're talking in less than, well, now it's a little more, but basically 100 years of agriculture. We went from doing stuff with horses and doing it by hand to having machines that drive themselves and what have you. And it all started with stuff like this, you know, the little basic. In their day, these things were Cadillacs, because you were either still doing it by horse, or you were doing it with a pull-type combine or whatever, and pickers. And then you came along with something like this, and oh my gosh, standard cab, that would have been crazy. I mean, technology. And now the cabs are so nice you can't hardly even tell you're doing anything, you know. It's like being in your living room. So pretty interesting, and always worth remembering where you came from, because you wouldn't have the stuff we have today if it wasn't for the old timers and the stuff that they had, you know, the stuff they built, the stuff they saw worked and didn't work, and the changes they thought needed made, and you know, that all led to where we are now. And that's something. And I also, I mean, I'm not going to go up on a soapbox, but people talk about all these autonomous tractors, you know, and some people, they can't work if their air conditioner quits in their tractor and stuff like that. And I don't know, that kind of bothers me, because if you don't enjoy the work, then why are you doing it? I guess that's not the way I want to put it, but what I'm saying is, if you want to just let it drive itself and do everything and just sit there and watch and not do anything, then you might as well play a video game, I guess is what I'm saying. If you don't enjoy that, the physical making it happen, you know. I like it. I like to be outside. I would rather be on an open station tractor 90% of the time. The exceptions would be round baling hay and, you know, on a combine. I would also like a nice climate control cab where you don't get sucking in a bunch of dust. But otherwise, a lot of the time, I don't mind being out in the sun, and I don't mind a little dust. I just, I don't know. I like I like being outside. This is the moral of the story. And I think we're getting away from that as technology keeps happening. I think people are losing that love of outdoors. I don't know. They like to do the work and they enjoy living in the country, but they don't want to get dirty and they don't want to, I don't know. I don't know how to explain what I'm thinking, but yeah, old combines. I don't know what else to say about them. I got off on a tangent there, but I think they'll be fun to play with if I can just keep them going where they're ready to go, because we're always short of time, and that's always the killer, you know. We don't have time to play with our toys, so we're gonna try to keep it going and, you know, make everything a little more better every year, where we can get more toys happening instead of less. You know, we can get more things out there, save more things, and put them back to work and put them on YouTube where people can enjoy watching them run. And now hopefully with the drone we can get some cool shots, and we'll just have to see how that plays out. But you know, it's getting pretty close to where I'm gonna have to enlist some help, where I can have somebody drive while I fly a drone to film it or something, because it's hard to do it all myself. But I don't want to not do it myself, because I like it. I enjoy playing with my toys and running things and doing all that. So I don't know, we'll just see where life takes us, but I think it's neat, you know. One of these days I'll get that other one out, and then we can have 3 side by side. Then I'll put that red one back together and we'll have 4 side by side. If I get that deer put back together, 5, you know, 5 old combines. So I guess we'll leave this one here, because it's getting pretty dark, and you know, you don't want to just sit here listening to my stories or opinions, which are probably going to offend half of the people watching. But at any rate, we'll leave this one here. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.